before that, I'd like to talk a little bit about that thing. Okay, so that is Dome, and that right there is supposed to be the first ever indoor baseball field that we have in Taiwan. However, it's not done yet, and actually the thing is, here in Taiwan, our national sport is baseball. So how did we get baseball in our culture? Basically because before World War II, Japanese people, they colonized Taiwan for about 50 years. They introduced baseball into Taiwan. And then there was the game that the Japanese host between Taiwanese kids and Japanese kids. And on our surprise, Taiwanese kids won. So at that time, we were like, okay, we're better than you guys in baseball. So we just been obsessively in love with baseball. Yeah. And however, in Taiwan, especially in Taipei, we rain every single season for all different kind of reasons. Super annoying. And back then, before there were live streaming and broadcasting, people actually have to travel a distance to a specific arena to watch the game. So you can imagine the disappointment if a game got canceled or postponed because of the rain. Yeah, so in 1986, there was a very intense game happening in Taipei area. And again, the rain came. Game got cancelled, people were upset. They also realized that there's this governor among the seats, so they started to chant, "We want an indoor baseball field. We want an indoor baseball field." Of course in Chinese. Yeah. And the governor at that time, he was like, okay, I'm gonna promise you all Taipei people, we're gonna have an indoor baseball field sometime. And that promise was made at 1996. Right now, 2020, we are not done yet. Right. So this construction has been going on for around 8 years. And for the past 4 years, 3 years or so, the construction has been postponed, has been paused. Why? Because the Taipei City government found out there's something a little bit fishy about this place. Right, so this project right here, it's actually a collaboration between the Taipei City government and the Far Glory Group, which is a private company. So the Far Glory Group, you can actually see them right there. You see the white words. And also the big taller building on the right-hand side, that's also Far Glory, with the red clock-looking thing on it. Yeah, so both of them are Far Glory, as you can see, very rich private group. So being a company, of course, they want to make more money out of a project. So what they did is they actually squeezed the size of the baseball field and they enlarged the mall area so that they can make more money.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, that sucks. And what sucks even more is that they shrink the size of the field so small that it does not meet international standard. So if there's an international tournament coming into Taiwan, we're not going to have it in our indoor baseball, brand new, so expensive baseball field. We're going to have to take it outdoors. Yeah. And so that sucks. And also another thing that made the crowd very, very unhappy is that because this construction has been going on for years, right? So the original blueprint and the actual thing happening inside has been changed a lot. Yeah, for example, they took away 17 evacuation staircases. So you can imagine this building is going to host thousands and thousands of people, and if we don't have a good enough of an escape plan, that's not good. Yeah, so that's why the government, they're like, okay, we're going to stop this, we're going to investigate into what happened. And the Far Glory Group president, he was put into jail for a while, but you know he's rich, so he got bailed out. So, yeah. And basically for now, what the government's doing is that the government decided, okay, we're going to keep on going with this construction. And what the city mayor said is, we're going to do the things that are right, and the things that are wrong, we're not going to do. So I'm not really sure about what is he going to do about the size and the evacuation plan and whatnot, but that's what he said about this issue. So, yeah. Okay. Any questions regarding Taipei Dome?
No.
So there's no construction now?
It's still under construction.
Still under.
Yeah, it's going to finish, I think, sometime in this year.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay. And
So maybe, hopefully, next time you come to Taiwan, you can come for a safe indoor, maybe, baseball field. Yeah. Okay, we're all good. We're gonna go to the front of Sun Yat Sun Memorial. exactly is Sun Yat Sun. I guess you guys must be very familiar with this guy already because you can see him basically in our daily lives. Right, so Dr. Sun Yat Sun, oh, you sound very surprised. Dr. Sun Yat Sun, he's the guy right here. The guy on the horizon. And Sun Yat Sun, he's the guy who founded the Republic of China government in 1911 in mainland China. Right, so he's regarded as the father of our nation. He's the one who founded the first ever democratic China, and also the first ever democratic government in Asia. Yeah. So he's also the guy who overthrew the last imperial dynasty in mainland China, which is the Qing dynasty, in 1911. Okay. So this guy being a revolutionist, usually people would imagine a revolutionist being a guy running in the field, taking gunshots, but it's not really that case for him because what he actually did is he traveled a lot around Asia and also parts of America, basically going out there giving out speeches, trying to inspire people, saying like, hey, I have this idea called democracy and I'd like to come up with a new democratic government in mainland China. Would you like to fund me or would you like to fight for my belief? Yeah, so that's basically what he did all throughout the years. And he actually initiated 11 times of revolution. Then he succeeded. So it took him quite a while. Yeah. And Dr. Sun Yat Sun right here, even though we all know his name, not his original name. It's only a name used among Westerners. You cannot find a single documentary that's signed by the name Sun Yat Sun. Because actually before modernization, for Chinese people back then, people usually have more than 2 or 3 names. That's the norm. Yeah. So for his case, it's known that he had 60-something names. Right. So his original name is called Sun Wen. Yeah, Sun Wen. And when he grew up a little bit, he became Sun Yixian. When he got baptized, he's Christian. He became Sun Rixing. And then when he went to Japan, he became Nakayama Sho. And Nakayama Sho in kanji, it's Zhongshan. And Zhongshan in Cantonese is pronounced as Yat Sen. So we have Sun Yat Sen. So that's a long route for a name. Yeah. Anyways, that's our national father. And other than that, if we combine these 2 qualities together, a person who is very good with his words and a person who has a lot of names and travels a lot, we get a guy who has a lot of wives and girlfriends. Okay, so Dr. Sun Yat Sun right here, he is publicly known to have very, very, very good share of girlfriends all around Asia. And also he used to be super, super cute when he was a lot younger. So you cannot really see by the bill, but yeah, when he was younger, he was pretty cute. Yeah. And so on the record, he had 3 wives, not all at the same time, one overlapping each other. And he's also publicly known to have a preference in younger girls. Yeah. And I'm actually too old for him. Alright, so how young are we talking about? Don't worry. How young are we talking about? Basically, for his first marriage, it was arranged marriage, so he basically had no say in it. Both of them were 19 at the time. And we all know that that marriage was not working out. Why? Because he publicly had a mistress. And the mistress ended up being the best friend of the first wife. So I guess that was the happy ending, okay? Best friend, yeah. And then the second marriage, it was with Dr. Sun Yat Sun. He was with a Japanese girl. And at that time, he was traveling in Japan, and he needed to get a translator / maid / lover. Yeah, so that was that. And the girl at that time, she was 15 when they got married, and Sun Yat Sun was in his 30s. Yeah. Later on, the third wife, which is from the Song family, the most famous wife among all wives, the first time ever that Dr. Sun Yat Sun met this girl was when this girl was still a baby. Right, so what okay, so what happened, nothing happened when she was a baby, okay? So what happened is Dr. Sun Yat Sun, he was visiting his friend. So he went to his friend's house, he was like, hey, what's up? And he saw this baby girl in the cradle. He was like, oh my god, this girl is so cute. I'm gonna marry her one day. So he waited for 15 years, and when she turned 16, they got married. So that's our national father! Okay, so Walter Sanson, right here, this memorial hall right here is dedicated to his 100th birthday, if he's still alive. So the size of this building is exactly 100 meters times 100 meters. So that's why you can see some people walking around this building, trying to keep track of how much they're like jogging or stuff. And also inside the building on the right hand side there is a little museum exhibit hall talking about his lifetime. So if you'd like to learn more about his contribution towards the world, then yeah, you can check that out. And the majority of this building is used as an auditorium, basically as a performance hall. And we also host the 3 Golden Awards here, which is basically the Grammys, Emmys, awards for Chinese-speaking world. Yeah, so we invite all the people from mainland China, Taiwan, maybe Malaysia, Singaporeans, Hong Kong, Macau. They'll come here to celebrate this Chinese version of awards. And yeah, so that's also where the red carpet happens. So pretty fun area to hang out during the ceremonies. And yeah, it's here. Regarding the memorial or sunset. So for all good, this is also a really nice picture with Taipei 101. So I'm gonna let you guys take a picture for a while and then we can slowly move on. Okay? So right now we're overlooking the central business district of Taipei City. Across us we can see that is the Taipei 101, which is going to be our final destination. So if you got any questions, last. And for right now what we're looking at is actually the Grand Hyatt across us. So anybody staying there tonight? No? Okay.
They are.
You are? Really? Wow. Okay. Right, so it's a great hotel. Yeah. And now you can cover your ears. Because
Is there a bad story?
Okay, so you know about that?
I don't know.
Okay, so maybe the kids can cover your ears.
Why? I want to listen. Go sorry.
Yeah. So this Grand Hyatt right here, Grand Hyatt Taipei, it's nominated as the top 10 most haunted hotels in the world by Hotels.com. Top 10 by Hotels.com. Yeah, 2000 something. So yeah, why is it super haunted? Basically 2 reasons. First of all, currently we're on the east side of Taipei City. The development of Taipei actually started from the west. That's where the Ximen and Longshan Temple is at. And then gradually moved to where we are right now, which is the east. And back then, during the Japanese colonial age, it's said that they used that exact land to execute prisoners. Yeah, so there's a lot of unhappy spirits hanging around over there. Yeah, that's reason number 1. Reason number 2 is if you look at the shape of Grand Hyatt, it resembles to something also very popular among the mountainous areas of Taiwan, which is a graveyard, like so. So that is a graveyard. Christine is going to display to you. Yeah, so kind of like the semi-circle facing towards the front. Yeah, traditional Chinese graveyards. So basically it's a huge tombstone in the middle of the city waving to all the ghosts like, hey, it's a great place for you to stay. So yeah, that's why. And other than that, there are of course like stories about it. People see sightings, and however the officers inside, they're like, Come on, that's not true. We're just, you know, a normal hotel, and this location, they even pulled up a map from Japanese colonial age. They're like, yeah, you know, this place, it was not a execution field. It was just a military base that they produce all the arms, all the like guns and everything. So yeah, nothing too weird. They're like, okay, maybe not, maybe yes, you know, crazy things go down in the army. So yeah. And back then, actually in the main hall of the Grand Hyatt, there was like 2 huge calligraphy pieces. Calligraphy, like black and white thingies. But calligraphy, as innocent as it may look like, but it also looks very similar to Taoist charms. So have you ever seen like Chinese zombie movies? Yeah, you stick the charm on the head. So very similar to that. There's also like red ink and everything, but later on Grand Hyatt, yeah, it was like that. Later on Grand Hyatt decided to take it off because it looks too controversial. Yeah, but nowadays they swap it up into a very stern, serious looking police officer statue, which also looks super spooky. Yeah, every single time I'm like, okay, oh no, okay, there's a person. But no, that's a statue. So yeah, anyways, have a good stay in Taiwan. Yeah, and now you might be curious about like, if this is the top 10 most haunted hotels in Taiwan, why is it still up and running then? Well, it's all thanks to 2 buildings right next to them. So first of all, Taipei 101. It's not only just a tourist attraction, it's also an office building. So from the 5th floor to the 85th floor, it's all offices. And so there's like a lot of good big companies like Google, IBM, some airlines, and KPMG, that kind of stuff, accounting companies. And other than that, the one on the right-hand side where we have red frames, that one is Taiwan International Convention Center. Yeah, and downstairs there's also a couple of exhibition halls nearby. So this is a place where a lot of foreign business travelers, they come here for conferences, events, and that kind of stuff. So, you know, if the company can afford it, why not we put them in the nearest 5-star hotel unknowingly being haunted. So that's it. Okay. All good? Any questions? Still good? Still staying there? Yep. Okay, going for the 5-star experience. Alright, and if we're all good, we're going to head to the end of the road to talk about. Currently the most expensive office space. Okay. So basically, here in Taiwan, we got 2 major floors. Another we call it green. Okay, blue and green. Of course, those are not their. I believe that they're Chinese. Yeah. And the green, on the other hand, as I mentioned, is locally funded, and this one it believes a little bit more about Taiwanese independence. They want Taiwan to one day get rid of the name Republic of China, maybe let's say Republic of Taiwan, something like that. Yeah, so that's the main differences. One is pro-China, one is pro-Taiwan. Okay. So these 2 political parties have been fighting against each other for the past 30 years, and they just fight. So if the blue party one day come up with a policy, they're like, okay, we want to do policy A, and the green party will be like, no, policy A is like so bad. Let's do the complete opposite of that. Let's do reverse policy A. Yeah, and the same goes if the Green Party proposed something, the Blue Party would not agree on it. Yeah, so it's been like that back and forth for the past 30 years. So that's why Taipei citizens were super sick and tired of this kind of fight. So that's why 6 years ago, 2014, we voted for a city mayor that is from neither parties. He's not from the blue, he's not from the green. We do have some minor parties happening in Taiwan, but they're usually not strong enough to compete for the major roles. For example, presidency or mayorship. So it came as a surprise that our capital city mayor was not from the blue and green. Yeah, it was a huge shock at that time. So this mayor right here is called Mayor Ke Wen-je. So Mayor Ke right here, he claimed himself to be the white power of Taiwan politics. So why did he adopt the color white? Because first of all, he had no experience in politics before, not at all. And also, second of all, he used to be a surgeon, serving in one of the best hospitals in Taiwan, NTU hospital. And yeah, so that's why he's white. And basically, he, being an amateur politician, he does not really know how to behave like a public figure, especially for the first 2 years when he was in office. Yeah, so back then, he went pretty wild on Facebook. typing whatever he wants. But recent years, his team decided to take over all of his social accounts, so we cannot see that much of interesting comments as before. But basically, for example, what happened back then is there's this huge event in Taipei called the Universiade. Basically, it's Olympic Games for university students. We invite university students from all over the world to come to Taipei to have this game. Yeah, and at that time, there was a group of people protesting in front of the main arena. And Mayor Ke, he got mad. He went on Facebook and scolded like, 你们这群王八蛋, So 王八蛋, as you're laughing, it basically means you group of son of a bitches, what are you doing over here in front of our main arena? Yeah. So that is our mayor. And after that, as I mentioned, his social account is taken over by the team. So nowadays, how could we get his comment? By interview, right? So another thing that happened a couple of years ago is that that building right there, that is a Taipei City Council. That is where the councilmen of the Green Party, Blue Party, other minor parties, the voice of seeing like how the administration team is doing. Right. So one day, Mayor Ke was in the city council being questioned about the trash issues here in Taipei. So Mayor Ke got annoyed and basically he said, either if you're from the Blue Party or from the Green Party, we all have to deal with trash. So as innocent as that sentence sounds, Chinese Mandarin is a very magical language. The same exact sentence can be understood as either if you're blue or green, yeah, both trash. And he not only said it one time, it was not innocent at all. Right, so when he was running for his second term, he printed it out as stickers. Either if you're blue or green, you're both trash. He said it over and over and over again. So yeah, that's our mayor! Yeah. So being a very outspoken person, he's also very, very down to earth. Yeah, so back then he actually took the bus to work a little bit more than a year. Yeah, so every single day in the morning you can see him hopping up the bus over there at bus 20 and around like 7 a.m. And right after he gets off the bus, he'll take the stairs to go up to his office. Yeah, so we know that he's a very big fan of taking the stairs. So that's why at that time the media really, really don't like this behavior, because for the cameramen, if they want to get a comment from Mayor Ke, they all have to carry the camera and walk up the stairs with him all the way to of course, the top of the building. So yeah, that was what happened back then. And now, as I was describing about him, you might think that, okay, maybe the younger generation all like him, yada, yada, yada. Yes, he is very good with social media. He also did a lot of collaborations with YouTubers. Like one of the most trending YouTube videos in Taiwan is A Day with the Mayor. And it was a collaboration between another YouTuber with him. And so that was pretty fun to see. But also the controversy that he has, it's usually when it comes to the women and LGBT rights and also his attitude towards China. So when he was running for his second term, there were a lot of interviews going on about him, right? And one day he was being asked about, okay, what do you think about Taipei's city view? So he was sharing this little story. He said, well, one day I was walking around Taipei and I saw there was this woman. She was not wearing any makeup. I was so shocked. How could women not wear makeup? Taiwanese women should be like Japanese women. They should wear makeup. Yeah, and the internet was like, oh my god! What did you just say? So that's our mayor. And also, like, back then, when we were looking at Mayor Ke, we thought maybe he's a little bit more pro-Taiwan independence than pro-China, because his background, his family background, he was a victim, his family was a victim of the Blue Party, like they were killed and stuff like that. And so, however, recent years, as he was going out to China, giving out speeches, we realized that he started to say something like, okay, Taiwan and China, we're a family, and stuff like that. So we're kind of not sure about how is his attitude towards China. And why is his attitude towards China important? It's because this road in front of us, this is called Renai Road. And from this end, it was the Taipei City Hall, right? But if we go all the way to the very, very west of this road, it will connect us to the Presidential Hall. So we often refer this road as the highway to presidency, because most of our presidents, our past presidents, they have all been the Taipei City mayor. So maybe his next job, maybe, can be the president. And being the president of Taiwan, we have to be clear about what you think about China. Yeah, so we'll see about that in the future, but at least for this month's election, he did not participate, and President Tsai won the election. Yeah. Okay, any questions here regarding politics? It's a free country, you can say whatever you want.
The scenes we see on TV, where I think there's a Taiwanese Parliament, they're always fighting. Is it here?
Yeah, that one. Or the Parliament. Also, this is a city council, but the Parliament is the one kind of closer to the Presidential Hall. Yeah, so but both in the Parliament and the city council, people are crazy. Like for our councilmen, our Parliament legislators, they fight in the council. And when I say fight, I don't mean verbally fight. They throw punches, they throw water balls, they throw chairs, they throw paper, they throw flour, everything. Yeah, so that's also a thing here in Taiwan. All of our politicians are very dramatic. Yeah, that's the word. You can see a lot of YouTube clips about how they fight, like literally fight. Yeah, it's for entertainment. It's like showing like, okay, I care so much for you, so I'm doing all that. I'm throwing punches, like, yeah. So that's also why we are not such a big fan of like blue and green, these two strong like people holding grudges against each other. But hopefully one day our democracy can be more civil. Exactly. Yeah. So that's what we have right now. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So we're all good. We're gonna head to LE Bookstore. Okay, so I'm gonna briefly introduce this place, and then we're gonna take a break. So later we have all the time in the world to take pictures. Okay. Right. So right now we are standing in front of the Elite Bookstore. So why did I say Elite instead of Eslite, Eslite, whatever? Because according to their website, they say this is Old French, and I guess in French you're not supposed to pronounce the S. Okay. So Elite Bookstore. Elite Bookstore right here is one of the biggest chain bookstore in Taiwan. We have a lot of these bookstores around, and Elite Bookstore right here, it also sells you this free reading lifestyle. Yeah, basically inside, if you go to the bookstore, you will not really find books that are covered with plastic wraps. Open any book and look at the book all day long, totally fine. Yeah, and also there's a branch, well not branch, only 2 MRT stations away. That Elite Bookstore right here, that's the first ever bookstore in the whole world to run 24 hours. That's a non-stop bookstore. Yeah. It's between Zhongxiao Donghua and the Red Line. Yeah. So that one is 24 hours. However, the 24-hour store is going to close this May. So if you're going to check that out, highly recommend you to do it during your stay this time. And this building, the whole building belongs to Elite. However, the bookstore itself is only on the 2nd and 3rd floor. Yeah, the other parts right now, Elite is selling the lifestyle. Yeah, lifestyle stuff. So, for example, you can find furniture, scents, overpriced notepads, overpriced pens, that kind of stuff.
money.
815. Now it's 802.
It's very fast.
Yeah.
Is it now now?
这种啊，
Yeah, no. 嗯
Get a calendar for her.
Yeah.
It's overpriced actually. So every book is not wrapped, she says. So tell her I'm usually 我去的原因是，去的原因。
Why would get a supermarket in a bookshop?
Yeah.
他多少钱？有甜甜，现在只换